Meanwhile, let's get...
What's going on, people? Welcome to the United Stand. Welcome to the Flex and Rants show. We saying, bro?
All good, bruv.
Is it all good though?
Not really. But
Is it all good?
I told you, I'm
Flipping
managing my expectations for the season.
That is it. Another bad result for us. Difficult to take. More drop points. 4 games, 1 win, 2 draws, 1 loss. Not great. It feels like we start the show talking about Solskjaer all the time, but
yeah,
for different reasons. But we've got to talk about accountability and the youth. I want to talk about accountability and the youth. Like, for me, Ollie's put a lot of pressure onto the likes of Greenwood already.
Yeah,
he's heaped the pressure on.
Yeah,
by saying Lukaku's left, and it's a pathway for Greenwood.
And
it's
Sanchez.
Pressure. And Sanchez.
Mm-hmm.
By saying that he's the most clinical striker at the club.
Yeah.
It's pressure. By saying, no doubt, Mason's going to play a lot of games this year and score goals.
Yeah.
It's pressure. And yet, we're seeing him come on for 7 minutes, 8 minutes against a Southampton team that are down to 10 men for 20 minutes.
And we're there for the taking.
No Gomez in the side still. He took Lingard out, okay, fair enough, but it almost felt like he couldn't wait to just bring him on as soon as it kind of went wrong.
Yeah.
Why do you think Solskjaer is not backing his belief, which he tells us he has, and playing these youngsters?
I don't know, but you can look at it 2 ways. You can look at it as he's lying, and no, I'm being real.
He's just lying.
You can look at it and he's saying the right things, but he doesn't truly believe it. You can look at it that way, or you can look at it another way where maybe like he's looking at the man that are there and he thinks that they have enough, and either one's worrying to me. Do you know what I mean? Either one's worrying.
They're both just as bad as each other.
They're just as bad as each other because you saw the state of the performance that Rashford put in. If you're trying to tell me that a fresh Mason, who's the best finisher at the club, according to you, like don't deserve 20 minutes down the middle, like especially against 10 men, then like what are you telling me? Do you know what I mean? Like what are you telling me really? If you really are that confident in him, because you're saying that he's this and he's that and how good he is. You're talking about when people say, oh yeah, but maybe he doesn't want to put too much of his blood in him in. Bro, you've sold the 2 other senior strikers at the club. You've literally said you're the man, you're the third choice. Martial's injured. He should be the go-to guy. There should be no hesitation. There should be none, but there still seems to be hesitation. Putting on a man for 6 minutes is disrespectful. 6-7 minutes. What's the point?
And in that 6-7 minutes,
and he still tested the goalkeeper. If he gave him 20 minutes, he probably would have scored. And that was playing from the right-hand side. So, like, either he's not being truthful about the confidence that he has in him, or, like, he genuinely must, when he said he's happy with the squad he has, maybe he's actually happy. And if he's actually happy with that, that's a worry in itself. So, I genuinely don't know which one's worse.
I was saying to Mark, and a couple other people, but it was Mark who actually said something to me, and I thought, you know when you hear someone say something back to you and you think, oh, like when you see a tweet and you might go, wow. I said to Mark, he's cleared out the dead wood, etc. You look at the signings we have made in Bissaka, James, and Maguire. They're actually doing pretty well, very well. And he said, yeah, but Flex, what you're actually describing is a director of football.
Yeah.
Someone who's clearing out the dead wood, choosing the right players to bring in, but on the pitch or from the sidelines, we're not seeing that energy.
I think he would be a great deal with. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's weird because I keep saying, I'm trusting in this process.
Yeah.
Because for the first time, I know the results are going to be bad.
Yeah.
Because even under Jose, I'm the first to, look at something and go, right, this ain't working. But I can see the club choosing to go in a direction. I can see the club trying to buy a mould of player. We didn't buy enough. I get it. But I am seeing things that could be easily rectified, things that are reactionary in games if you're a coach, tweaking things, changing things that I'm not seeing. Andreas Pereira should have been brought off at half-time.
Yeah, he had a stinker. I said that post-match. Like, he literally, a 1 out of 10 was being generous.
Why would you not put Greenwood on then? And then even if you didn't do that, then
give him a half, mate. We're 1-0 up.
As soon as Southampton went down to 10 men, there was 71 minutes on the clock, 72 minutes. There you go, Mace. You've got best part of 20, 25 minutes, bro.
And also, it sends a signal to the other team that, yo, we're coming for your throat. You know when they go for a man down and you put on another striker, that's like, yo, we're coming for you now. Straight away, that just sends that bit of fear into them, and it will provoke something out of them. Do you know what I mean? Just intimidation. I mean, you don't do that. Go down to 10 men, man are bringing on Matic and Lingard. What the hell are they going to do between them? Do you know what I mean? It didn't even make no sense, because then what he did was he brought on Matic to free Pogba going forward, and then he brought on Lingard, which meant Pogba had to go back again. So it was like he just undone like the change that he made before. Like
that contradicted
himself. It was stupid. Do you know what I mean? You could have just brought on Mason then. You could have brought on Matic and then brought on Mason. The whole Lingard thing never needed to happen. Because Mata wasn't having a bad game. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't having a good game, but he had a better game than Jesse.
Jesse got into some excellent positions with some really good chances to make something happen. I remember that running
twice. He should have passed it, and he took the shot.
He had Mason on one side, and I think he had Rashford on the other. He did well to ride a couple challenges in midfield, travelled well with the ball. Now you're like, can you make the right decision, Jess? And he didn't. Gomez, he scores another great goal for the under-23s, and obviously he played a lot in that game, so we knew he wasn't really going to be playing against Southampton. And I don't think anyone truly thought he was going to be even in the squad, let alone starting for us. How can you see him? I know you tweeted like if he doesn't get game time this year, he's off.
He's off.
When do you think? Do you think maybe after the international break, Ollie could actually start?
Ollie will probably play him in the League Cup or something like that. But the way I'm looking at it is, when I look at all of his stable mates, like Gomez is the captain, bruv. Like he's captain for under-23s and captained England as well. Captained England in a team of Jadon Sancho, Phil Foden, Ryan Brewster, a few of these ballers, and all of these men are playing first team for their country, for their club, except for him, and he's the skipper. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is going on there, bruv? Like, he must be looking at the rest of his friends playing first team football, and he's still stuck in the under-23s thinking, what the fuck? I'm the captain here, bro. Like, I can't get no games. It don't make no damn sense, especially when you've got someone like Jesse Lingard and one matter ahead of him.
Like, I think that's the worst thing there, because it's not like those players are lining up.
It's not like it's in a position where like you're right back and you got Wan-Bissaka there, then you're like, all right, cool.
What can I do?
What can I do, innit? But you're an attacking midfield player, with shitty Pereira, one matter that's got about 25 minutes football in his legs, and Jesse Lingard, who's just a headless chicken, bro. Like, none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. If you can't break into a team with them man in front of you, like, it's not looking good. You know what I mean? And that's down to, obviously, Ollie fancying these men ahead of him, which worries me, because he's head and shoulders a better footballer than a lot of them.
That is the worry, I think, because we're all willing to be patient with this team. Absolutely. We're all willing. We all want Ollie to get it right. That's the first thing. But for me, I almost think if he plays the youth, I almost think he takes pressure off himself and these players, because you look at Chelsea's situation, okay, it's forced. They can't buy players, so they had to. I get it. But you think that Chelsea fans are going to, we're booing when they conceded the last minute thing to Sheffield United.
No,
they're seeing a process. Chelsea fans have wanted to see their young players play for ages. So for them, it's probably
their team been winning youth cups and all of that.
Do you know what I'm saying? So they've got it there.
Yeah.
Us, we've had our periods of winning FA Youth Cups and doing really well, etc. But as a club as well, we like to bring through the youth, and our manager is someone who knows all about our youth and is making the right noises of being able to play them. And I just think, I just see it as a bit of a counter argument, like, about this pressure thing. But I just think if you played Angel Gomez, Chong, Mason Greenwood, Jimmy Garner getting it, somewhere in and around, because I almost think that United fans would be even more, what's the word I'm looking for? They'll be more patient, even more patient. It'll buy you more patience and
way more,
less scrutiny.
Because we're seeing the same dead ballers that we already weren't fond of. If he played a few of the young players and say, the result didn't go our way, but we saw some things we'd liked, we'd say, you know what? Do you know what I mean? I can get behind this because we're trying to do something. But right now, I can't see what we're trying to do, bro. Like, I can't see what we're trying to do. I can't see the logic behind the changes he made. Too many times, United need a goal, and then you see a shot of Ollie just sitting on the bench like this, doing nothing, bro. Like, it's just like, what are you thinking about? Like, what are you thinking about? Like, we don't have that much depth anyway in the squad. Make a change.
Yeah, there's not that much options.
Like do something. You know what I mean? It's not like it's sport for choice. You know what I mean? And that's my thing with managers in general, yeah, like your ability to affect the game from the sidelines ultimately is what makes you a good manager. Do you know what I mean? The coaches do it on the training ground, but the managers do it in the game.
We said that in the warm-up, innit? You know, when I was saying to you, like, it's crazy because you got the goalkeeping coach like doing all the warm-ups. So you got the shooting coaches, the striker coaches, whatever.
And some teams have an attacking coach and a defensive coach.
And usually the actual manager is not really there. They might, like, so Alex used to just look around, Klopp might just look around, whatever you see. But they're not in the middle of the circle going da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
You know, Emery's quite hands-on. I know he does that quite a lot. Wenger in his younger days, and I'm not saying that. But really where your corn is really earned
is on match days. When you see the gaffer in there doing all of this, I'm running up and down the touchline and like even Jose sending on letters and stuff like that.
That's earning your bread.
That is how you earn your money. That is how a manager earns their corn. That's how managers affect games, when you're sending on tactics with other players and you're telling this player, go and tell this player to do this. All the time I just see Ollie just sitting there. I just don't know, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Like, as I've said a million times, I really want it to work out for man, because ultimately, none of this is his fault. Like, it's not his fault it's not his fault that he got the job in the first place, because he wasn't qualified for it. Do you know what I'm saying? And obviously, the emotion of everything that we've been through, and obviously...
we all wanted him to get it.
We all wanted him. We're not all, because there were a lot of Man United fans that were like, no, innit?
I'd say 90%.
I'm saying that I wanted him to get the job based on the fact that no one else was available. I knew Pochettino wasn't available, and I wanted Mourinho out. So with them two things, Ollie was looking real amazing. Amazing to me at the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, anything would have been better than Mourinho at the time. But the fact that Ollie had all of that and Poch wasn't available, I wanted Ollie, innit? And I stick by it. He's here now. I mean, I want to back him, but just like we'll criticise players if they're not doing their job, I have to criticise the manager. I believe that game was won and lost with him, or drawn with him, the decisions that he didn't make. And I'm not the first person to say that he waits too late to make changes. Like, it's something that we've been hearing since last season. Loads of people have been criticising him for waiting until the 70th, 75th minute to make a change.
And that surprises me, because the problems that we're seeing with him, Rants, they're not like... I don't see them as like huge problems. I see them as very easily correctable problems.
Very straightforward.
Do you know what I mean? Bring on Mason Greenwood earlier. Start Mason Greenwood. Make sure Gomez is in the squad. Don't play Matic. All right, he's doing that now. Like, little things like that. Rashford. Let's talk about Marcus Rashford. He done absolutely well to take his chance when he's come into our first team fold. Excellent. Because football's all about taking your chance if you get given it. So he done fantastically well. This is his, fourth season?
Yeah.
Fourth season.
So there can't be no excuses
for him. Can't be no excuses. He's actually a seasoned professional now.
4 years.
Four years at the top level, Champions League, Europa League, all sorts of playing all around. England international.
How many hundreds of games has man played? Do you see what I'm saying?
Like, he's played like over 200 games.
Well, there you go. So you can't look at man like he's a kid. 200 games at Manchester United.
What's going on then? Why Ollie persists in playing him? Why Rashford is not developing? What's going on with the potential that Rashford has? Is there potential? Where do you see this Rashford thing? I know you made your feelings very clear on the fan camp, but now we're speaking about it in a bit more depth. What needs to happen with Rashford now? Actually, that's my question. What should we do with Marcus Rashford now?
If I'm being honest, I'm seeing another Danny Welbeck. Except Danny Welbeck was actually technically, and from a football IQ, sound better than Marcus Rashford. He held the ball well. One thing Danny Welbeck did do well was he knew how to hold the ball and link play. A lot of the time, Welbeck would run the channels, hold it, wait for people to bring them in. I remember
shooting wasn't good.
Yeah, but he couldn't shoot. He had no end product, but the in-between stuff was good. Do you know what I mean? But Rashford don't have that IQ. And the thing is, the way players develop their game, it's up here. Like, when you look at Raheem Sterling, for example, technically as a footballer, he hasn't developed, but he's developed his football IQ massively under Pep Guardiola. So now he's getting in the right positions to score the goals that he wasn't scoring before. His shooting hasn't improved. It's hit and miss even now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but he knows where to be, and he uses that. He's a very intelligent player now. Like, the system that he's been asked to play in, he's taken to it amazingly well, and he swallowed it up. I don't think that Rashford has not got the football IQ. He plays like the kid in the playground. That he gets the ball, and as soon as he gets the ball, he wants to beat 3 or 4 players.
Because he's fast.
Yeah. No matter where he is on the pitch, like, he just wants to do the same thing. Like, he's not learning. Do you know what I mean? How have you not developed in 4 years?
That's the biggest worry for me. It's that level of progression.
And a lot of people blame Mourinho, saying, he's not developed because Mourinho's playing a negative brand of football and is too defensive and he wants Marcus to track back and all that. But it's got nothing to do with that. It's just that he doesn't have the football IQ, bro. Like, it's that simple. He doesn't have it. And that is not something you can teach. That is something that is innate. And eventually, he won't be at the club anymore. I'm sure of it. Like, if the club's got any ambitions to get to where they should be, he's not good enough. It's that simple. And I think the fact he's Manc and the fact that he's English as well is the only reason why he's getting the allowances that he get. Because if that guy got signed from another club or something like that, another passport, they would be absolutely handing him pelters.
And even on that, it's interesting to say that about the preferential treatment, maybe because they come up through the academy, you give them a little bit more
Solskjaer definitely got that United DNA thing going. Like.
But even in the away end, he's starting to get a bit now.
Yeah.
He you know what I mean? Jesse definitely is. Which I found that very interesting.
Yeah, but Jesse's been getting it from the whole dancing thing. Remember, Jesse and Pogba,
didn't like it.
They didn't like Jesse anyway.
Then now he's playing shit. Yeah. It's kind of like, okay, cool.
They didn't like Jesse, but he was scoring goals, remember?
Yeah, he had that little purple patch.
But there you go.
With Rashford, what I see is, I always see a player who sometimes, not all the time, sometimes maybe doesn't get the fair share of criticism for some of the things he does wrong. But even now, we're starting to see that. And what I will say, there's going to be people at home or rival channels watching this saying, you know, at one stage you lot all said Rashford was sick and da da da.
I didn't.
And this is, well, yeah. What I will say is that you have to, your opinion on players can change with the evidence that they show you.
Of course.
Because realistically, that's like saying when Rashford burst onto the scene, scoring them goals against Arsenal, Midtjylland, and then went on to have a decent season.
Yeah.
We could all just like make our mind up fully from then.
Yeah.
Then we see a second season. Then we see.
But you only have to make your mind up based on the evidence that you have available.
Exactly.
That's all you can ever do.
And in 4 seasons.
That's all you can ever do. Because even with
3 different managers,
when people were comparing Rashford to Mbappe, I said straight up, in terms of ability, there's not much between them. They're both technically good players, but the difference is Mbappe's football IQ is so high and his understanding of the game, it takes him so far clear of Marcus Rashford. In terms of doing skills and going past people, Marcus Rashford's got just as much as Mbappe has. In terms of pace, Marcus Rashford's probably half a yard slower than him. Do you know what I'm saying? But the difference is decision making and the stuff that really counts, that comes up here, Mbappe's got it in abundance. And Rashford don't have it.
To be fair, I think also, I think Mbappe is actually more clinical than him as well.
He is, but the thing is, that comes down again to temperament, and also it's a psychological thing because Rashford panics and snatches at his shots. It's not because Mbappe strikes the ball better than him, because Rashford strikes the ball very well.
Yeah,
it's just that
it always goes wide
because he snatches at it. Do you see what I mean? He gets excited and he rushes it. When Marcus Rashford is calm and he takes the shot nicely, bruv, he scored a goal. His goal this season when he opened up his body and passed it into the bottom corner. And it looked brilliant.
He can do it.
And look at the penalty that he scored as well. Look how well he strikes the ball.
And even the one he missed.
Even the one he missed, he struck the ball very well. Marcus Rashford's ability to strike the ball isn't his problem. It's because he snatches at it. Do you know what I mean? He's got no composure. And that is something that's psychological and it's an emotional trait. Martial's very composed. Mbappe is very composed. It's not that Mbappe strikes the ball better than Rashford because he's not hitting it from 25, 30 yards like Marcus Rashford. But when he's in front of goal, he don't shit himself.
On smash,
Do you see what I mean? And that's what I mean. People like to try to twist it, say, oh, you compared him to Mbappe. No. Nah. Never did that. Do you know what I'm saying? And I told man, Rashford's not levels, bro. He's not levels. And you cannot teach those things. So for me, like, if United are really serious, I think that it will probably come to the next manager coming in and saying, you know what, he's not good enough. But under Oli, Rashford's going to play, mate.
This is the last bit on this section before we move on to the next. There was a rumour out there, I don't know if you've seen a little bit, that Oli's annoyed at the likes of Rashford and Martial.
Yeah, that sounds like paper talk.
For not taking, you know, messy chances. Martial scored a messy chance against Chelsea, hit off his knee. Yeah. You know what I mean? Scrambling in there,
and
that's what you want.
The crosses that James is putting across goal, Martial would have scored one of them.
Unanswered, that flashed across the 6-yard box. Wan-Bissaka had done one as well. And we were there, we were screaming, going, where is he? Where? Why are you not there? There's free tappings there to be had in that game. So
But if that's the case, then Ollie's only got himself to blame because he could have had Mason.
If that's the case, because it was a rumour.
And that's why I said it's because we could have had Mason down the middle and he would have tapped one of them in, bruv. Like the goal that he scored for us was a tap in. Do you know what I mean? Mason has got that movement. If he was in the middle, he would have tapped it in. You sold Lukaku, he was our tap-in merchant. If you wanted tap-ins, that's your guy. Do you know what I mean? So you can't blame Rashford for not being there because Rashford's never been that guy. I can't remember how many tap-ins he scored in his career, but you could probably count it on one hand. Rashford's not, he hasn't got movement. You don't have that upstairs, so you can't get annoyed at Martial for not being on the pitch to take them chances. He's only played 3 games.
And he scored in 2 of them
and he's bagged a couple goals.
Or been part of the build-up to a couple.
Exactly, so I don't believe that that's true. I believe that that's paper talk. But if it was true, then again, he just needs to look at himself. I think that it looks like a case of Ollie learning on the job. That's what it looks like because, do you know what I mean? No matter what level of football you play at or you coach at or whatever, you've been on the sidelines with me, like even in the last game, bro. What did we say at half time? We said, you know what, these guys are going to come out quickly. And that's exactly what they did. And you can feel momentum shift during the game when you're on the side. You can feel. You can feel when you say...
And it's your job to try and plug it or trust in your players that they've got it up here to ride out periods.
It's your job to either you can sense that, you know what, they're pushing, but we've got these guys contained, or you know what, this is looking kind of shaky. I might need to change something. Do you know what I mean?
Not even substitution. It could just be like, yo, next 10 minutes,
formation.
You drop off the front,
but that's
can you just fill into an extra midfielder?
Get your number 10 and say, you know what, drop 3 or 4 yards back, stay closer to the 2 in there. We just need an extra man in there to ride this out. There's different things that you can do. So I'm not trying to hear like all the excuses for him. You have to criticize in-game management that's just not being addressed. Do you know what I mean? And you don't have to be a genius. The people got this IQ say, oh, well, you're not a manager, you don't know. Even as a football fan that goes to watch a game week in, week out, when you're sitting in the crowd, you can feel the momentum shift.
Exactly.
Bro.
Yeah, you see a man say, fucking hell, let's get on top of us, isn't it?
There you go. Against Southampton, first half, second half Southampton, first 10 minutes, we were like, these men are going to score, blood. We were there. And
don't take a rocket science.
And we're not in the dugout.
I don't need UEFA A license to see that they were going to score.
And I got my level 2. I ain't got my UEFA, but fam.
Same with Wolves. When they come out second half, we don't need to be...
And Traore was ripping Luke Shaw. We knew it was only a matter of time.
He ripped Dino.
There's only a matter of time before these men are going to get a chance because football, it's a percentage game.
And it's a momentum game.
That's it. It's a momentum game, bro. That's why they always say that goal just before half-time, like the Arsenal-Tottenham game, 2-0 down, that goal just before half-time, guaranteed that Arsenal would equalise.
Or
just because of when they scored.
If they kicked off at the second half and got it straight away.
Yep.
Either just before the end.
But just before half-time, it changes the whole psychology. Absolutely. It changes the whole team talk at half-time.
Change the whole atmosphere of the Emirates.
When you go in at 2-1 or 2-0 down, bruv, like the conversation is completely different, you know.
100%.
And that is the psychology and the momentum of football. And as a manager, if you're not affecting games from the sideline, you're not doing your job. And people need to question you. It's that simple.
Let us know what you think about this first section. We spoke about Ollie, his indecisiveness, lack of decisions and stuff on the sideline. Let us know whether you agree with us on that. Have your say. Let us know in the comments. We've spoken about Rashford. I spoke to some people who think it's just a bit of bad form and he'll be fine. I spoke to a lot of other people who say he's not good enough, like what Rants is saying. Let us know what you guys are thinking about that. I want to talk to you about, and you guys, I want to discuss Victor Lindelof. Because it's hard as football fans as well, because you see things in moments when a team's at a certain stage of their development and you make an assumption, you make an opinion, you form a judgment. And our judgment was, to a lot of people at the beginning, Lindelof looks a little bit lightweight, then he played his way into form. And then he was actually our best defender at one point. Maguire's come in. We're only 4 games in, so this is all in context, from what we've seen. He's been at fault for a couple of goals. Westergaard, don't get me wrong, is massive. He can outjump a lot of people, but he hasn't been, even he had a few shaky moments, even on the ground. We know his weakness has been, he's not as dominant as, say, other centre-halves in stature, in physicality, in strength, but he's good and his attributes are positive on the floor. He's striking up his partnership with Maguire and been at fault for a couple of goals. Is he becoming an issue that we need to look at or maybe address in a different way? Or Is it just a bit of bad form? It's a bit of teething problems getting a new partnership with Maguire?
I don't think it's bad form. I think it's always been there. When people talk about, oh yeah, like he got out jumped and he's a big guy and all that. I was watching Ashley Young. Ashley Young defends very well at the back post headers. He's not tall, but what he does is he's clever. He jumps into the player just to kind of put them off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That kind of nous, yeah, that's what Lindelof should be doing. When you're marking someone, you know they're bigger than you. If you can't win the header, make it very uncomfortable for them. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't do that. He doesn't have that bit of bastard in him. He's too nice. And you could tell he just looks like a nice lad, innit?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can't be a nice lad in the Premier League when you're playing against them kind of forwards. Do you know what I mean? You can't.
Or centre-backs.
The centre-backs or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
And Ashley Barnes.
The Ashley Barneses of this world.
Chris Wood.
But there you go. When you come up against
Real
these
scumbags,
man, what's my
bruv.
man at Brighton as well, blood?
What's his name? Glenn Murray.
Glenn Murray. When
Yeah,
you come
Glenn
against
Murray.
Glenn Murray, yeah, you're right, mate. Do you know what I mean? How's it going? Like, none of that.
You
bruv.
ready?
Do you know what I
Yeah?
mean? Bruv, that man will eat you for breakfast,
Yeah,
cuz.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? You can't be nice. And the thing is, I've been saying it, and you can even check my Twitter. I always said our best partnership was Smalling and Lindelof. Why? Because Smalling is the guy that attacks the ball. And also, Smalling's got the best recovery pace in the team. Well, he had, because he's gone now. People underestimate the pace of Chris Smalling in recovery. He's one of the quickest players at the club. Well, he was. He was in the top 3. The guy's rapid, bro. And a lot of the times, Lindelof went up for that header, missed it, and Smalling would sweep up, bro.
But then if
Do you
we
know what I'm
swap,
saying?
say, Smalling and Maguire...
The difference is Harry doesn't have the recovery pace that Chris has. Do you know what I mean? He has something different. Harry Maguire's not slow, but Smalling's quick. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you're playing someone with Harry Maguire, like, if they're not going to be dominant in the air, I'd prefer someone a bit quicker, like Axel Tuanzebe. Do you see what I mean? Because Tuanzebe is as good as Lindelof on the floor. He's quicker than him and he's stronger than him. The only thing is he doesn't have the experience. That's all it has. And I said in my post-match thing, I think eventually Axel will displace Victor, because Victor seems like a confidence player. And it seems now that like he's been at fault for a couple games and I think his confidence is quite low.
Aerially, does Axel have it?
I don't think he has it, but I think that because
He
he's
has a
got
bit more.
he's got more of a presence,
Yeah.
I think if anyone's going to jump into someone and kind of make it awkward for him, I think he'll do it. And also, I just think that because he's young, just the enthusiasm, like, might just be enough to get him through at the moment. And also, Maguire talks a lot. It's not like you're putting Tuanzebe next to a fucking Smalling or a Jones where he could just end up in no man's land.
He's next to a very accomplished
someone that
defender.
will marshal the thing and do all of these
Can
things.
Lindelof play himself back into form?
I think he can.
Do you think Oli, and the second question is, do you think Oli will allow him to? Do you think after the international break he might just...
I think Oli will allow him
You know,
to.
we've got Astana coming up, we've got Rochdale. Do you think if, you know, maybe Tuanzebe comes in for them, which you think he probably would for one of them at least, minimum, he might look at it and go, do you know what? I don't mind that.
Yeah. No, I
it'd probably
think
be
that
Jones
Axel
and Tuanzebe for that,
Tuanzebe,
though.
I think Axel Tuanzebe does get a few games, bruv. But it comes down to, at the end of the day, styles, innit? I'm not saying that Lindelof's not a good centre-back. What I'm saying is, yeah, just like the comparison I made with Rio and Terry and Rio and Vida, which people chose to take out of context, yeah?
Shock.
Like, styles in centre-back partnerships. Rio, people are forgetting Rio early in his Manchester United career made a whole heap of mistakes. Even at Leeds, man was saying he was a liability because he tried to play it out and got caught. Or the physical side of the game, maybe like he wasn't winning certain headers. But when you've got a ball playing centre-half, that tends to happen. Do you know what I mean? The mistake's always going to be there. You very rarely get a ball playing centre-half that's commanding in the air. Like, not every day Virgil van Dijk, bruv.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get
Harry
centre-halves.
Maguire.
Or Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
But Harry Maguire doesn't have the athleticism like Virgil.
No, he
Do you know
doesn't,
what I mean? So that's what it is. But not every day you get both. You usually get a player like Rio who's a Rolls Royce, but he's not physical. Or you get an Nemanja Vidic who's a brute, but he's not really got feet. Do you know what I mean? You don't really get a hybrid. So what Victor gives us, we'll also lose certain things with him. You know what I mean? And the thing is, it's becoming more costly now because he looked like our best player because we had Smalling there who had injury problems anyway and he wasn't good with his feet. So people would pick on Smalling's feet, but defensively he was good.
Jones, don't need to mention him.
Exactly.
Rojo.
And then you got Rojo and then you got Eric Bailly who can't stay fit. Because when Bailly was fit, everyone was saying he was our best centre-half.
So it's almost like
so
a
he became
situation
the best
of
by a technicality.
negatives. Yeah.
He became the best by a technicality. Because everyone was saying Bailly was the best before the injury problems.
Exactly.
It's not like
And now it's get rid of
it's
Bailly
not like,
because he can't
It's
stay
not like
fit.
Lindelof played his way into form while Bailly was playing and surpassed him. Bailly was out. Do you see what I mean? So we've kind of been looking and saying, yo, he's the best of what we have available. And a lot of people have forgotten that actually you're comparing him to that. It's just like with the Luke Shaw thing. You're comparing him to Ashley Young.
Yeah, because now Luke Shaw's highlighted as like...
But there you go. But now you're comparing him to Wan-Bissaka. All of a sudden, he's not the Luke Shaw that you thought he was, that you were comparing to Ashley Young. So it's all about perspective. Football's all about perspective. Certain players can be good, but good compared to who?
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, good compared to what? Good compared to when?
There you go.
Because I remember Dennis Irwin.
But there you go. I always compare our left back and right backs. I compare Wan-Bissaka to Gary Neville.
Yeah.
I don't compare Wan-Bissaka to Valencia.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Because I don't rate Valencia as a right back.
Yeah.
Never did. I'm not comparing him to Raphael. I'm thinking about the last time we had a good right back.
Yeah, exactly.
You see what? And that's what you have to do as players. You have to compare these players to these players. And now I'm comparing Victor Lindelof to Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
He's not at that level.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we have to understand that. So Victor has by no means cemented his place in the team, bro. I reckon that's up there.
He's breathing.
I think Axel's looking at this thing thinking, you know what, yeah? Like, if he makes one more mistake.
Yeah, I mean.
Do you know what I mean?
In pre-season, I know it's only pre-season, but you can get from it that people are able to step up. You can, which is why we're looking at Gomez and thinking, well, he played well. He played well in the pre-season tour. You can mix it. You know what I mean? Tuanzebe did look really good on pre-season.
Brilliant.
He did.
And also, we had a season with John Terry. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
We had a season with John Terry at Aston Villa, mate. Do you know what I mean?
So
as much as I don't like John Terry, yeah, like if you want to learn how to defend, that's where you go, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's where you go.
Having that as your number two. Imagine getting training every day and then you've got...
Every day and you've got John Terry in your ear telling you, yeah, do this, put your body here, show him this way and that. That's invaluable. Yeah. That's the best place you could have gone for his development. So I think that he'll force his way into the team because, as I said, Victor, he looks like a confidence player and right now his confidence looks low.
It is. That's Mr. Iceman, you know, we forget that, giving him the name Mr. Iceman.
But like, I do want him to snap out of this because it's not good seeing your players
short of confidence, especially when you know how good they can play when they
and collectively our defensive unit is very strong, man. So when you see one guy that's kind of flagging a bit, you just want him to get it together. Do you know what I mean?
I think for me personally on this, lastly on Victor, I'd give him a couple more games. I would.
So would I, but I don't think he can afford another more mistake because both of the mistakes have cost us goals as well.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. One more big mistake, we need to change it. I just to give him the chance to redeem it. But I would definitely have that conversation with him. I know sometimes it depends what type of manager you are, and this way management skills come into it. You could technically leave a player because they know they've done wrong.
Yeah.
You know, just leave them; they'll be all right. But I would have a word in Victor's ear, and I would say, listen, you've made a couple now, mate. I've got a young lad here who I've made my first choice centre back. I've sent Smalling out. Rojo, all right, cool, he's still here. Darmian's gone. Jones is not even in matchday squads.
Victor don't seem like a leader like that, though.
Yeah,
he don't have
I don't see him as that.
So presence, blood. You know them ones that he doesn't have it, blood. He don't have the presence,
I would
blood.
say to Victor, buck your ideas up, man. Come on, let's get going again. So that's that on Victor Lindelof. Okay, the inevitable has happened. Not only just with Paul Pogba, it has obviously happened with Martial getting injured. Luke Shaw injured. We spoke about how thin we are as a squad. But we've always spoke about our midfield, and if Pogba gets an injury, how effed we are. Pogba has an injury. Yeah. I think it's his ankle.
Yeah, I saw him limping.
He was limping. Yeah, he was limping around.
He was limping on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly before the game even finished, and I did think, don't know about that.
But apparently, I heard that he started the game with the injury. He went into the game injured and he took one for the team, mate.
There you go. I mean, Ollie obviously didn't say it in any press conferences, so that could be something that's out there.
Yeah.
He's withdrawn from the French team.
Yeah.
Sometimes if a player's just picked up a knock, the French team would still say, come out here, we'll assess you, get training. He's just withdrawn. Pogba loves playing for France.
Yeah, he does. He'll probably still go anyway.
Arguably, yeah, he might even go to
he'll probably still go because he does that.
Arguably, not even arguably, prefers to play with France. With all what's going on and he doesn't want to be here, plus all the shit he's getting, all of that culminated into one. Why would he not want to be at France? So for him to actually come out of it would suggest, actually, I know there's a 2-week break, but is that going to be enough? If he's injured, and you look at our next Premier League games, I know we've got Rochdale and Astana sandwiched in between.
Right.
Leicester at home, know what Leicester are all about.
Yeah.
West Ham away, always a tough game. Arsenal home.
Yeah. Bro, those are all games you need Pogba for. You know what I mean? Those are all games you need Pogba for. The Astana game and The other one,
Rockstar,
Pogba
yeah.
ain't gonna play.
No.
anyway. You know what I mean? But we need Pogba, and I think he'll be back, man. You know what I mean? It's just soft tissue, ankle ligaments. The fact that he wasn't on crutches and he was walking on it after the game tells me that it's not serious. Do you know what I mean? It's precautions. Because as soon as, if there's a serious injury and there's a certain amount of swelling, straight away, they take the weight off it.
Yeah.
They would have had Pogba on crutches or they would have had him in a wheelchair just in case. He walked out the stadium on 2 feet, which means he's okay.
Yeah, and then obviously they can see, like, actually, we ain't got training for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, the players that stayed will have a little light
So
sessions,
they'll just
but
strap some
it's
ice to
probably
him on
best
the
just
coach.
to take a few days out.
Yeah, they'll strap
I
some
hope
ice
you're right,
to the coach
because
and chill out.
let's just quickly discuss, because it's going to be a short bit. What would you do if he's injured? Who are you playing? What would you do?
Bro, I'm with my guy Frederick, blood. I say, you know
What,
what?
back from
I'll
his
be like, the
flipping
honeymoon's over, B. You know the ones there, bro. We need you now, fam.
Hold on, do you know what? Can I just say something? I'm going to be deadly honest with all of you at home. I didn't actually know Fred went and got married until I saw the pictures.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, I thought, is he taking the piss?
Nah, but you know what it was?
Why has that happened?
I think he was meant to. Didn't they have a tournament, Brazil?
Copa America. Was he in it?
No, but I think he thought he was meant to be in the squad. So man was like, you know
Didn't
what?
plan his wedding then.
No, so he did plan the wedding. I think he probably planned it so like, yo, like man's out there anyway. Man could do the little South America thing while I'm out there and that, and then he didn't get picked.
I thought, look, Fred's missus is talking.
Because obviously, if you do the, because remember, if you do,
maybe his missus has gone.
because if you do the Copa America, you get the extra bit holiday after. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously, Fred's booked the holiday, the
Sanchez
wedding.
was there, bro, and he had a couple of weeks off and come back.
Yeah, but that's
Fred
what,
wasn't available for games at the start of the season.
but what I'm saying to you is, yeah, Fred probably thought, I'm going to play the Copa America, yeah, I'm going to get the extra few weeks off, I'm going to get married in that time. Obviously, because he didn't play the Copa America, Ollie's like, well, bruv, you're meant to be back.
But Fred's whipped, bro.
You didn't get the thing.
His missus is way taller than, bruv. He's whipped.
Every man, yeah,
whipped.
every man that's married, yeah, they know. Well, go on, bruv. Unless you're like Souness and that, bruv, you get me? And you're just thumping up the wife and that, yeah? Like,
No, you can't say that.
Bruv, I don't care.
No, Rants. No, I have to stop.
Bruv, why do you have to stop me?
Stop.
Bruv.
Stop. And I don't mean
Listen.
stop, press record. I don't mean that.
Nah, bruv.
You can't.
I
you
swear
can't.
down, fam.
I know
Souness,
whatever you
man.
think about Souness.
Bruv, you can just tell.
You can't say he does that to his. No, you can't.
You can
do
just
that.
tell, bruv.
No.
Man comes home, don't smell food and that. Tutu's turning over furniture, bruv. You can just tell it, bruv. You can just see it, bruv. He's that kind of guy, Souness, bruv. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them ones where, like, any decent man, yeah, knows, yeah, that happy wife, happy life. Innit?
Yeah.
No man can really go around and say, oh, that youth's whipped. Because really, if you're not whipped, yeah, you're just getting bare headache, fam. That's what it is. And listen,
Because you have to give them what they want.
bruv, I'll take the lashes over the headache, fam. Any
I ain't
day.
whipped. Do
You
what
know
I
them
want.
ones there.
This is watching at home saying, I saw your video. You know,
You know what I'm saying?
no, babe, it's just because like,
When you get home, blood.
Just because to the viewers and that, I was just,
Well,
you know,
one that you just know the day after the video comes out, you'll get home and she'll just be sitting on the sofa like this. When you get in, blood, and you just know what it is, fam, straight away. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, babe, Josh said it would be funny. Like he said, just have a laugh at that.
But this is it. So like, one of them ones where Fred, obviously, if he thought he was going to be detrimental to his Man United career, I'm not naive enough to think that he'd done it on purpose because he's a hard-working guy.
I just thought I'd bring because I just thought
He's a hard-working guy, bruv. He hired in some next independent fitness team to get him fitter for the Premier League and all that.
Well, we need a bit of Fred. We need a bit of Fred. Right, question time. Let's get into question time. The first question is from DWayne33 at DWayne33, and he says, "Thanks for the question, bro." He says, "After the international break, should Ollie change his ways and just play Pogba in a 10 and Matic and McTominay in behind because our midfield is effing lacking and we need something?" LOL.
Well, considering that's what he did when we went on that run when we beat everyone, it would make sense to do that, but that'd be too simple for Ollie, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean? Literally, the thing that got Ollie the job was Pogba in the 10.
Yeah.
That's
or
what,
advanced of a
in
free.
the advance in the free.
Yeah.
He wasn't literally in the 10, but Pogba at the front of a midfield three was what literally got him the job and what gave Pogba his best career output to date. So what told him to play Pogba in the double pivot all through pre-season? I have no idea.
No one knows.
Other than he just wanted to play
because
he wanted to play Jesse Lingard down the middle. That's what it was. Because he thought he was getting the right winger, and then he did. He got Daniel James. Because he thought, remember, Jesse was playing out wide, and he probably said, you know what, well, I have to play Jesse down the middle now, which means Pogba has to drop back. So, ultimately, Jesse Lingard's keeping Pogba out the 10.
Okay, well, Lingard's keeping a lot of people out the 10 right now. Okay, fair enough. I like this question. This is from Invincible MUFC. God, I wish it was Invincible. Don't you think Leicester City Football Club fixture is a deciding factor on where we are going to finish the season? If we can't beat them at home, then we aren't good enough to finish in top 6. I don't think it's a deciding factor because it's so early in the season. It's the 5th game, so you can't say if you lose against Leicester, then we're definitely not gonna come in the top 4.
But it will give us an idea of where we're at present.
At the teams that in and around that, it would definitely show where we are. I think it would also show what we predicted, which is the fact that because we can't beat Crystal Palace at home either. We can't beat Southampton away. So those things in the first 4 games don't fill us with confidence, but we already predicted we're going to finish 5th, 6th, maybe even 7th. Let's get really real with it. Let's get really real with it because, all right, Wolves have got a hell of a lot of games and they've started really badly because of the Europa League, so they might just then... Everton are going to kick on. You saw, and I know Chelsea are in a similar position to us, and they played us off the park at home. You saw what Leicester did to them at Stamford Bridge, and they should have won the game. They had a lot of chances. Maddison was causing havoc. Vardy was running in behind. Perez was causing problems. They were causing all sorts of issues. They just couldn't put the finishing boots on. And you look at their midfield, Tielemans and Didi and Chowdhury. Yeah, mate. If you're looking at it on paper, apart from the Pogba situation,
I'd take it.
Do you know what I mean? It's like saying, would you give up just the X factor in Paul Pogba
to have a midfield 3 players,
yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they've got players that literally would get into our team right now. Even Jamie Vardy probably could.
But of course he would.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Well,
so
he scored a bloody good goal the other day as well.
Chowdhury, you're looking at, you think he's
there you go. But that's
Maddison,
why.
Wood, Chilwell, you could argue with Luke Shaw, Wood, and Didi. Is he better than McTominay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't think it's a deciding factor.
No, but that's why it's important.
Anything, but it's important.
It's important to see how we do against teams around us. And when I say teams around us, because I'm saying we're going to finish 5th or 6th, we have to include Everton, Wolves, and Leicester in these teams because they're potential top 6 teams. Those are like the best of the rest.
Yeah, to maybe knock on the door. And even though, like you even said last year, how like Wolves were like the best of the rest, and then we still still
Wolves
finished.
Lost to everyone around them last season, but they did well against the big teams. Do you see what I'm saying? So with us, we can't be losing to everyone around us. You know what I mean?
We need to beat them.
We need to beat those teams.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
because
saying?
It's going to be a long old season.
It's going to be a long
season.
season.
We are going to drop points away to Brighton or at home to flipping Bournemouth or stuff like that.
We are going to do that.
It just will happen because we know how unpredictable we're going to be this season.
Absolutely.
This question's from, do you know what? I actually can't read it. It's too many numbers. I'm just going to say at LB because there's a whole load of numbers. So thanks for this question. Not that we're pushing this agenda. This is just a question, yeah? At what point will you be Ollie out? What would it take for you to do that? I'll let you answer, then I'll
honestly, apart from like Pochettino coming out and saying he wants to leave, like I can't see myself just turning and being Ollie out because I don't trust the board to hire the right replacement unless Pochettino's like, brother, I'm here, come and get me. And if Poch is saying I'm here, come and get me, because you know what, Poch has been making all kinds of funny noises recently, fam. Like, I'm not really the manager. I'm the coach. I don't know what's going on. Ask Levy. He looks disillusioned. Do you know what I mean? And
doesn't seem quite right.
The timing of the appointment of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the whole Pochettino noise. Remember, there was a lot of questions to Poch about Man United, and the Spurs press officer were trying to embargo it and stuff like that. I believe that there were talks between Woodward and Poch, and Poch was probably like, listen, Tottenham are moving into the new season. There's no stadium. There's no reason. There's no way I'm going to be able to leave now anyway.
Yeah.
And Woodward's probably said, you know what? Let's give Ollie this job. He's on a short contract anyway. We'll see how it goes, and then man can still bin him if we need to, innit?
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that the way Ollie's just loaning man out and getting rid of man, I wouldn't be surprised if he's kind of just doing all the dirty work and he's going to fall on the sword, and then the next manager will benefit from it. But I'm not going to be Ollie out unless I know we can get Poch, because I don't want no one else. People were talking about...
People are questioning Poch though. What do you think about that? About his in-game management?
I don't think you can question
He's
Pochettino.
Not that great, actually, when they
I see man beat Pep over 2 legs, blood. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that was lucky.
It doesn't matter. You need luck anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Pochettino is proven. You know what I'm saying? Like, he done it at Southampton. He's proven that he can do it on a budget, and we are on a budget compared to a much bigger budget
But is
than
that
Tottenham.
enough to prove that you can compete on a budget?
No, but remember the budget that
something?
the budget that he's on at Tottenham is nowhere near the budget he gets at United. Do you know what I mean? United's budget is 150 million. Tottenham's budget is spending nothing. Do you know what I mean? That's the difference. You know what I mean? Southampton, the man there, the Manes, the Alderweireld's, the Van Dijks. He brought in all these man blood. Do you know what I'm saying? He's proven. He's proven. He plays the right way, and like if he's available, then I want man to go all out for him. Other than him, I don't care. People
Regardless
are talking,
of how well he's doing at the time.
No, I don't care about that. Do you know what I mean? I don't care about that because, like, with Poch, you'll always have a ceiling at Tottenham because they don't spend money. You know what I mean? There's only so much you can expect. It's just like Brendan Rodgers at Leicester. Like, Leicester probably spend more money than Tottenham. So it's one of them things where eventually, like, if Leicester keep investing the way they're investing, people are soon going to start looking at Brendan and saying, all right, well, you need to break into the top 6 now or break into the top 4. The expectations will change. Like, Poch has got Tottenham consistently, like, finishing, like, what, top 3 and 4 without spending money. He's doing what Wenger was doing with Arsenal, blood. Like, it's a big achievement, bro. So, I just think, unless he becomes available, a lot of people are talking about, what's his name, Allegri and all that. I don't want Allegri, bruv. Like, I don't.
Old school, man.
Yeah, I don't want these pragmatic old school managers. Like, it's only Pochettino I want. If Pochettino's not available, I'm not gonna be like, right, get rid of Oli, bruv. Like, I'll go down with the ship, innit?
Is our poor return? Actually, I didn't answer that. Pretty much. Just quickly, for me to be Oli out, I wouldn't do it this season. I wouldn't get rid of him this season.
Yeah.
Pretty much whatever happens, because I can see for the first time the club actually and the manager kicking out what he doesn't want, albeit.
What if you finish outside the top 6?
I would need to see us seriously capitulate. 10th, 9th.
Okay.
Seriously,
7th wouldn't be enough.
7th wouldn't be enough because I would still be like, do you know what? I've already said to myself, this is how I see it, and you may disagree. I've said to myself, I'm willing to write off this season if he plays the right players of what he's got. So I'm still not entirely happy because I want to see him play more youth. I want to see Greenwood, Gomez, etc.
Yeah, agreed.
But I think as that develops, surely we've got to see it. If we don't, then I will still be very disappointed with that. And I don't mind trusting his project. I don't mind trusting his project because I look at the players that he's brought in, albeit it's 3. They're 3 very good players. I'm not saying they all need to be English and all need to be young. I'm not saying that. I like that. I like what he's done with those 3 players. They're players that I can see. Do you know what? If we actually have a blank canvas by the end of this season and we finish 5th or 6th, which we probably will, maybe even 7th, then it's all about that summer.
Yeah.
It was all about last summer. I get it. We effed it up.
Yeah, we did.
But we did do some good things. And the only question mark for me right now is I believe that Oli has a vision, but I don't feel that the in-game stuff and the tactics and stuff is quite there yet.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to trust that for one more year at least.
Okay.
So for me, I wouldn't go Oli out if we finish 7th and stuff like that. I wouldn't. Unless a Jose happened at Chelsea in that last season when he was literally
completely
like 13th
lost the dressing room.
We're losing 6 games in a row, and I know we haven't got much points in the last 15, including last season. But do you know what I mean? So for me, that's last season. Don't count. For me, it has to be a complete capitulation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so, because I just don't want to be back in another rebuild. Just trust one rebuild. Trust the process, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And he's getting rid of the dead wood. So I would give him that at least for me.
Fair.
Let me know what you lot are saying. Last question. Is our poor return of points this season as simple as a lack of quality in front of goal, or does it go deeper than that? And that is from @Ronan Wright. So respect for that question. Very good question.
I think it has to be a combination of that, and also I have to blame tactics again. Like, we're a counter-attacking team, but guess what, Ollie? When we go to certain teams, we know that they're going to sit back. We know.
Loads of teams are going to do it.
We don't have to wait. It's not like we have to wait and see what's happened.
Yeah.
When you go to Wolves, you know that these man, they don't even press. The strikers don't press, bro. They let you have the ball and walk it out.
Yeah.
They just sit back. You know what you're going to get with Wolves. So in training, how can we counter-attack if there's no space? You know what I mean? Why not work on breaking down stubborn defenses or doing things that have to work on more dynamic, intricate play? Like, why not work on that? Because you know that you're going to need to come up against that. But we don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Our football, Ollie's plan A isn't good enough for a man to be arrogant and say, yeah, we're just going to play one way all the time. Like Klopp's plan A
he can do
is
it.
up here. Pep's plan A is up here. Their plan A very rarely doesn't come off. And when it doesn't come off, it's because the other team are very fortunate. They hit the bar 3 times and all of that. Do you know what I mean? Man are riding their luck. To get past United's plan A ain't that hard, bro. Do you see what I mean? So we're not in a position where our plan A is that good that we have to be that arrogant. So there needs to be more tactical flexibility from the manager. It's not there. It's not there. When you look at smaller teams tend to adapt the way they're playing to their opponent because they know if we're playing against a Manchester United or whatever, they're probably going to have more ball than us, so we have to sit back. They're not going to play every match like that. Do you know what I mean? And we need to go into certain games against the smaller clubs and think, you know what? They're not going to have the majority of the ball, so we can't rely on breaking into space behind them and killing them. We have to actually be more direct and more, we just have to be more decisive on the ball. And we're not that. We don't have the players to do that. But saying that, we've got Angel Gomez that don't play. Do you know what I mean? We've got creative players in the squad that are not getting a chance. So I think it's a difference. It's a mixture between personnel and also like the tactical philosophy of the manager.
We've come to the end of the show, peeps. That was a good show, man. Spoke about a lot. We've come to the end. Socials, FlexUTD across all of the socials, Instagram, Facebook and Twitter for all your trolling needs, as Rants would say.
That's right.
Socials, Rants?
At Rants and Bants on Twitter and Instagram, and obviously on the YouTube channel, got plenty of shows on there for you guys as well. So yeah, man, keep it interactive.
Make sure you check it out. Keep following the United Stand football team as well. We're doing bits.
Yeah, we're doing bits. All right.
We're really looking forward to this blood.
Part-time Pep blood. I told you, man's on the sideline, bruv. Triangle City, fam. I'm telling you.
Absolutely. And also, we're gonna have a podcast for you coming very, very soon on your Spotify's, on your Deezers, on your iTunes. So watch this space very, very shortly. Because a load of you have been screaming, not only for this show to be that, but some other shows. So some podcast stuff coming with you as well. And most importantly, make sure you're following the United Stand across all of its platforms and subscribing, liking and sharing the videos. See you same time, same place next week. There ain't a game. It's time for internationals. Go follow your country. Peace.